Did you know that Donald and Melania Trump have been photographed holding hands exactly 17 times in public during his entire presidency? Compare that to 142 times Melania was caught on camera swatting his hand away. Jordan Klepper noticed this weird pattern and decided to turn it into comedy gold. In today's video, we're showing you the absolutely savage way Klepper exposed Trump's marriage through a hilarious mock debate. Two comedians argue whether the Trumps are America's power couple, or just two people who accidentally got stuck in an elevator together 20 years ago and never figured out how to leave. Hey, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. We know you want to. Go ahead, we'll wait. Alright, appreciate it. Now back to the video. Jordan Klepper has taken his Trump mockery to a whole new level with a segment that's getting everyone talking. Instead of just poking fun at Trump's policies or his weird way of standing, Klepper has created an entire fake debate show about Donald and Melania's marriage. It's like those serious CNN panels, but with way more laughs and way less respect for the former first couple. The setup is brilliant in its simplicity. Klepper sits at the center of a debate table, looking as serious as Anderson Cooper during an election night, complete with those fancy news graphics and dramatic music that makes everything seem super important. On either side of him are two comedians playing relationship experts who couldn't be more different if they tried. On the right, literally and politically, sits a comedian decked out in full MAGA gear. We're talking the red hat, an American flag tie that probably came from the Trump merchandise store, and a look of unwavering devotion that would make Sean Hannity proud. This expert is dead set on convincing everyone that Donald and Melania are basically Romeo and Juliet, but with more gold furniture and weird Twitter habits. On the left is another comedian playing the role of an academic with glasses so thick they could probably see through Trump's tax returns. This professor type is absolutely certain the entire Trump marriage is nothing but a business deal written up by lawyers, complete with clauses about how many times Melania has to pretend to love him in public. The MAGA supporter starts pulling out what they consider ironclad evidence, a stack of glossy photos showing Donald and Melania smiling together at various campaign rallies. Look at these beautiful moments, they exclaim while slapping the photos on the table like they've just won at poker. That's when Klepper leans in with that smirk he does so well and says, "Interesting you brought these. Our team actually has the footage from right after these photos were taken." The big screen behind them lights up with footage showing Melania's smile dropping faster than Trump's approval ratings the second the cameras move away. Let's move to Exhibit A. Klepper announces in his mock serious tone, queuing up a compilation that would make any marriage counselor cringe. It's a greatest hits of Melania swatting away Trump's hand in public, in Israel, in Rome, coming down the Air Force One stairs, played in slow motion with dramatic music. The MAGA supporter tries to explain it away as European greeting customs, while the academic is practically jumping out of their seat to point out it's clearly a woman who doesn't want to hold her husband's hand. The academic expert then whips out a massive chart with a downward sloping line that shows how Melania's public appearances with Trump decreased steadily throughout his presidency. As you can see from my research, they say while adjusting those ridiculous glasses, the frequency of joint appearances dropped 73% between the inauguration and the final year in office. Klepper looks at the chart and nods thoughtfully before adding, "That decline is almost identical to the trajectory of my enthusiasm for Game of Thrones. Started strong, ended with me wondering why I ever cared." Just when you think the MAGA supporter is cornered, they pull out what they consider their trump card, pun intended. Few people know this, but President Trump actually wrote beautiful poetry for Melania throughout their marriage. The audience laughs, but the supporter insists it's true and starts reading from what looks like a handwritten note. Klepper lets them get through 2 lines before interrupting. That's fascinating because we have Trump's Twitter feed from that exact same date. He pulls out his phone and reads actual Trump tweets from the same day. All angry rants about female journalists being nasty and low IQ individuals. The contrast couldn't be more perfect. perfect. What makes this format so effective is that Klepper gets to play the reasonable one in the middle while fact-checking in real time. After each ridiculous claim from either side, he cues up actual footage of Donald and Melania's awkward interactions. The inauguration dance where they looked like two strangers forced to slow dance at a wedding. The way she sometimes looks at him like she's trying to remember if she left the oven on back in Slovenia. All of it. And the genius of this setup is that it's obviously a satirical format, but it uses real moments between the Trumps to highlight just how weird their relationship appears to the public. Klepper isn't claiming to know what goes on behind closed doors. He's just pointing out that what happens in front of cameras gives comedians plenty of material to work with.
Melania Trump unveiling her official initiative promoting healthy behavior among children, focusing on their well-being, opioid abuse, and positive social media habits.
An awareness campaign dedicated to the most valuable and fragile among us, our children. They're verbally or online. They must choose their words wisely and speak with respect and compassion.
Speaking of material to work with, nothing tests the creativity of Trump's defender quite like Melania's infamous Be Best anti-bullying campaign. The passionate MAGA panelist immediately latches onto this campaign as definitive proof of the Trump family values, calling it the most beautiful expression of a wife supporting her husband's presidency. Klepper just stares at the camera for a good 3 seconds before launching into his counterattack. Interesting you bring up Be Best, Klepper says, fingers forming air quotes. Remind me again what that campaign was fighting against. The defender confidently explains it was about stopping online bullying and promoting kindness among children. Klepper nods thoughtfully before pressing a button on his remote. The screen behind them fills with a split-screen nightmare for the defender. On one side, clips of Melania speaking eloquently about the dangers of cyberbullying, and on the other, a scrolling feed of Trump's tweets from the exact same days. Little Adam Schiff, Crazy Nancy, Sleepy Joe, and dozens more presidential insults flash by as Melania talks about teaching children to be kind online. So while the First Lady was telling kids to be nice on the internet, Klepper says slowly, the president was, what exactly would you call this? The defender squirms in his seat before declaring, that's just Donald being Donald, he's authentic, not like these other fake politicians. Klepper doesn't let up. So the anti-bullying campaign was what, just a hobby? Like scrapbooking or tennis? The defender gets increasingly flustered, claiming that Melania was leading by example, while her husband was just telling it like it is.
You know, people make a lot of jokes about this marriage, but when I look at their shared love of exploiting our political system to sell shit for personal profit, prepared to go down to his office on Wednesday morning, he and I had a private moment. Congratulations, I said. What an achievement. All those other people. And you won. You're the President of the United States of America. And you're the First Lady, he said. Good luck.
The conversation then shifts to more awkward territory when Klepper pulls out Melania's book. The defender eagerly grabs it, flipping to a dog-eared page. With dramatic flair worthy of a high school drama production, he reads, I've always believed love conquers all obstacles. Klepper gently takes the book back. That's lovely, but that's actually from the notebook. This is Melania's book. He turns to an actual passage and reads in a monotone voice. The living room will feature Louis XIV for furniture and gold-leafed ceiling details that complement the marble flooring. Business partnerships should be evaluated primarily on their potential ROI. The defender stares blankly. That's just how Europeans express love. Things get even more uncomfortable when Klepper plays a montage of presidential couples at similar events. The Obamas holding hands and sharing whispers, the Bushes with arms around each other, the Clintons laughing together, followed by footage of Donald and Melania standing stiffly apart like awkward strangers at a bus stop. They're just private people, the defender insists, voice rising an octave. They have a passionate chemistry that's too special to share with the world. Klepper raises an eyebrow. Too special to share with each other, apparently. He plays footage from Trump's inauguration showing Melania's smile instantly vanishing the moment Trump turns away from her. The defender is practically sweating now, claiming it was just a facial muscle spasm that unfortunately coincided with Trump turning his back. When the defender brings up Melania's infamous jacket, you know, the one with "I really don't care, do you?" plastered across the back, things get even messier. That message wasn't about immigrant children, the supporter insists desperately. It was directed at the fake news media. Klepper just tilts his head. So your defense of their loving relationship is that when visiting detained migrant children, the First Lady wore a jacket that wasn't insulting those kids, but was instead flipping off journalists. That's your romantic interpretation. The defender's final Hail Mary comes when he claims that Trump wrote his own wedding vows, the most beautiful vows in presidential history. Klepper, now barely containing his laughter, plays a clip of Trump at his wedding, followed by a clip of Meat Loaf's "I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that." Interesting that his vows included the line, "but I won't do that," Klepper notes. Really keeps you guessing about what that might be. Fidelity, honesty, basic human decency. Just when you thought you'd seen the most bonkers defense of the Trump marriage, Klepper swings the spotlight to the other side of his debate table. Now let's hear from someone who makes our MAGA friend look positively reasonable, he says, introducing a conspiracy theorist in thick glasses and a tweed jacket with elbow patches. This expert clutches a leather portfolio labeled "Trump Marriage Contract Classified" with red marker scribbled across it. What we're witnessing is nothing less than the most sophisticated business arrangement in political history, the expert declares, dramatically opening the portfolio to reveal what appears to be a mock contract. "I've obtained the actual agreement between Donald and Melania Trump, including very specific clauses about public appearances." Klepper leans forward, playing along. What kind of clauses are we talking about? Section 4, paragraph 2, the expert says, pointing to a random spot on the page. Melania receives $50,000 per smile, with a cap of 3 smiles per hour at any public event. Handholding incurs a $75,000 surcharge, explaining why she frequently swats his hand away. It's not in the pre-approved budget. The studio audience roars as the conspiracy theorist unveils a massive corkboard covered with photos of Melania looking miserable at various events. Red strings connect these images to what appeared to be bank statements with large sums highlighted. Notice how each frown corresponds with a substantial deposit. Coincidence? I think not. Klepper raises an eyebrow. Don't you think this theory might be a bit extreme? Extreme? The expert scoffs. What's extreme is thinking she attends all these events herself. The theorist slaps 2 photos side by side, clearly the same Melania at different angles. Body double. This one's smile reaches 0.5 millimeters higher than her contractual maximum. The real Melania was probably at a spa that day, while her double earned the appearance fee. The audience laughs as Klepper rubs his temples. But what about her infamous jacket? The "I don't really care, do you?" one? Ah, the expert's eyes light up maniacally. The jacket! A coded message if I've ever seen one. The exact letters, when rearranged and translated through the NATO phonetic alphabet, clearly spell out "this marriage is for show" in Slovenian. The conspiracy theorist fumbles through more papers, while Klepper turns to the camera with a deadpan expression. To be clear, they don't. Attempting to bring some reason to the conversation, Klepper plays a clip showing Donald and Melania genuinely laughing together at a White House Christmas event. The expert dismisses it immediately. Contractually obligated joy sessions, scheduled months in advance. Notice how she laughs precisely 2.7 seconds after he does. That's not coincidence. That's in section 7 of the agreement.
Well, we don't see a lot of Melania, but she's also been on a media tour this week. Fox News, social media, your kid's piano recital. The campaign has brought out a very special surrogate, Melania Trump, former First Lady, and the only Slovenian you can name off the top of your head. Now, obviously, she's out there because she's a supportive wife who believes in her husband's America First. I'm f***ing with you. She has a book to sell.
What about her book? Klepper asks, holding up a copy. Surely writing a memoir shows some personal investment in their relationship. That book? The theorist snatches it from Klepper's hands. Written entirely by AI programmed to sound human, but failing miserably. The algorithm was trained on shallow lifestyle magazines and real estate brochures. Klepper reads an actual passage. The White House is a place where history meets elegance. I chose curtains that would complement this legacy while adding modern touches. See? No human writes like that, the expert exclaims, completely missing that many actual people do in fact write like that. Now the conspiracy theorist unfurls a massive timeline spanning the debate table. I've plotted every public appearance Melania has made alongside Trump against what I believe are their contract renewal dates. The timeline is covered with colored sticky notes and more red string. Notice how she appears exactly twice per quarter, with major appearances clustering around what would be contract negotiation periods. Klepper looks increasingly uncomfortable. You've put a lot of thought into this. Years of research, the expert declares proudly, and I haven't even gotten to the most damning evidence of all. They pull out a magnifying glass and a laptop playing slow motion footage of Melania blinking at a state dinner. She's blinking in Morse code. SAVE, MEFROMTHISDEAL. Klepper leans in to look at the footage. That's just regular blinking. That's what they want you to think, the expert shouts, now standing on the chair. The contract stipulates she can only communicate her true feelings through eye movements. Every time she blinks 3 times in succession, she's actually signaling, I'm being paid per minute here. Well, folks, I'm calling it. Our experts are both winners today, Klepper announces, gesturing dramatically to the debaters. Jim wins the Most Creative Fantasy Award, while Professor Sanders takes home Most Elaborate Conspiracy Theory. Congratulations to you both. Klepper's satirical format brilliantly exposes our obsession with celebrity relationships. By pushing arguments to absurd extremes, he forces us to confront the ridiculousness of our fascination with the Trump's marriage. Look, maybe their relationship isn't our business, Klepper concludes with a smirk, but as long as they keep doing that weird thing where they stand 4 feet apart at official functions, we're gonna keep talking about it. I'm Jordan Klepper, good night.